How's it going, James?
Oh my god, Jess.
Oh my god.
It's another week.
It's another week. Can you
Done
believe
and
it?
dusted.
And the full moon is up and it's
Full moon
draining
is up and
everyone.
my eyes are squared.
Me too.
Square eyes.
This entire
Tonight,
week has been absolutely exhausting for whatever reason. I'm guessing it's the moon and its energy or whatever.
I definitely agree with you. It has been one of those weeks where I've just kept to myself, flown under the radar, and I feel like I've blinked once and it's Friday.
I agree. It's just, I feel like I was telling James before that I feel like we do this podcast every day.
At the moment, yeah.
That's what it feels like. It feels like we blink and then it's another week has gone past. And I'm like, shit, James, like, we have to promote it, what we're talking about. Like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah, I know, right? Like, it's been hectic this week.
it's been
It's been
absolute
hectic.
bonkers.
I've had emails galore, stuff galore, and I can't even remember what I did. That's what type of week it's been. You know when you can't even remember what you did, but you just remember that it's been a lot?
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same in my role as well. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You do your job, you do it to the
Weird.
best of your abilities, and then you crash hard when you get home.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely what I'm feeling.
You know
The
what's
crash.
interesting? Yeah, it's just showing up is exhausting. Isn't that interesting?
I know. Sometimes it's very interesting like that. I do definitely feel like I do need a weekend of just relaxation this weekend.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to do some yoga, go for some walks,
Yep.
sit down for a couple of hours somewhere, just ponder.
Yeah, just look at the sky. Or
Yeah.
just that basic.
Yeah, really. My granddad's not too well at the moment. He's undergoing his operation tomorrow.
Aww.
Hopefully he's comes out of it all good
Yeah.
and in better shape. So yeah, thoughts are with my nana and my family at the moment who are very stressed about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, wishing him well wishes, and anyone else who's listening who's going through any health difficulties and that, we're sending you good vibes and good thoughts as well.
I agree. My dad sees a specialist next week on Wednesday.
Okay, how's
So
he
this
doing?
is, yeah, we will know on Wednesday what needs
Yeah.
to be done.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, normally it takes months to see a specialist, but now it's been fast tracked to a month, so whatever will be, will be.
Yeah.
Have to remain positive and just
Yeah.
trust in the process, you know?
Definitely.
And like this entire week, I've just come home and slept, and he goes, we don't talk anymore. I'm like, yeah, this week I just can't. I'm just so
What is
drained.
it? I'm the same. This week's been like, it's literally been one of those weeks, hasn't it?
I had so many messages on my phone yesterday, and I was out cold when I got home. I must have started early
the
too.
same. It's just like I haven't been replying to people. I haven't been on Instagram. I haven't been doing a lot of anything. I've just literally been going to work, coming home from work, unwinding,
Yeah.
going to bed, like having some dinner, going to bed, waking up, and then I feel like I go to work, start working before I know it, it's already 4 o'clock.
Yeah. I'm the same.
Knock off time, and I'm just like, what happened?
It literally flies. It literally flies. I look at the clock, and then all of a sudden it's my break, and then it's lunch, and then it's my break, and then I go
Yeah.
home. I'm like, I don't know where time is going.
What do you think it is? Do you reckon that's the full moon this week in Capricorn? So I guess just
Hectic.
hard working.
Yeah.
I guess just focused on work and just time flying because you're so focused on it.
I definitely think it is. Because it's a
Yeah.
weird feeling. Don't you feel like the energy, in a way?
Yeah, I just feel like this week all I've done is just sat down and got the work done.
Yeah, literally. And it's just flown by. Instead of stressing or anything, it's just get it done. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't you think this week it's been a bit hard, the work?
Yeah. I do agree with that.
Yeah. I think that's why I'm exhausted. I just can't come home. I'm just like, it's not the normal tasks. It's like ones that are a little bit more trickier, you know,
Yeah.
ones that are a little bit more, require a little bit more mental power.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Yeah.
It's kind of just
Nothing
like,
too hard, but, you know, yeah.
it's kind of just like you're exhausted and it's kind of just putting like another layer of exhausted and then another layer and then another layer.
Yeah. And then I remember, like, you were like, we got to provide the podcast. And I was just like, oh, yeah. Like, you know, we're just out of it. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do.
It's just so tiring. And I realized it was Thursday. I'm like, oh my God, we haven't done a thing for this podcast. I'm like, today's the day.
And then, but let's get into it. We understand, obviously, we're tired and exhausted. Maybe you're having a very energized week. Maybe it's affecting people in different ways.
Nah.
I don't think so either. So TV. Obviously, TV is one of those things you kind of do go to when you're in that mood, aren't you?
Yeah, you certainly
to
do.
Unwind and things. What's been some of the greatest TV that you've watched and experienced in your life? And
in my life?
Of, like, why? Like,
oh my God.
About it, and how did it affect you, and like your story behind it?
If I had to choose, like, God, I can't choose one TV show, but I have like a couple. Everyone knows my fascination with bloody Bridgerton. That was at the start of the year, and I feel like 6 months has gone by, and I was like, what is that? But I guess if I were to sit down, I'd love it again, because, you know, time just passes quite quickly, but, you know, the love is still there. But I would say, like, Friends, and I think the reunion kind of, like, solidified that, where it's always that thing when you're exhausted and you just need a laugh at the end of the day. I always put an episode of Friends. Another one I used to put on all the time was Fawlty Towers. Yeah. Because it's just ridiculous. But that was the whole point of Fawlty Towers. And people that don't know Fawlty Towers is...
Just to, like, jump in on where you're going with this.
Yeah.
One of mine was The Office.
Oh, yeah?
Just for a laugh. Like, it's a good little, 20-minute show, 20-something minutes. And, yeah, it just gave me a little laugh at the end of the day. Kind of the weird place.
It's kind of like with Fawlty Towers, it was done in the 70s, and it's about an outrageous guy and his wife that owns a hotel, and they're just inappropriate sometimes, and the humor is just typical British humor, and it used to just make me laugh. I haven't watched that in such a long time, but Friends I can chuck on. What else? There's so many, like...
The IT Crowd?
The IT Crowd. I haven't watched that in years, but I loved it back in the day.
Yeah, me too. I just kind of just loved... I don't know, it's kind of almost an anti-humor show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the opposite, but that's what makes it funny.
Yeah. It's like, she's in IT and she's got no idea about IT.
Yeah, she's just there for the fun and games. Yeah. Like, even, like, I was obsessed with Outlander too, just for the scenery, and then I didn't know the storyline, and then I got really into the storyline, and that's still going on.
What's that about?
That is about, let me get I was actually looking at it. I'm actually going through my, like, Netflix list of, like, watched things. And basically, oh, there it goes. It's about a time traveler that goes back in time about 200 years, and she's stuck in the Highlands of Scotland. And
I've seen this.
Yeah, she falls in love, and basically it was like, then she has to adapt because she's from the 60s and then the 70s. And she has to, like, adapt to that time where it wasn't safe for women and you needed a man around. And, you know, there's a lot of bad things that happen, but also a lot of good. And now fast track to, like, season 5, I think is at, where their daughter... So basically Spoilers. She fell pregnant. Yeah, might as well just... I won't reveal too much, but she falls pregnant and then goes somewhere else and then comes back. And, yeah, it's just kind of like a fantasy that never ends.
Yeah.
Another one that really hit like close to home for me, and I can sit there and watch it for years and not complain, is The OC. I can watch that up until the part I think the end of season 3, I won't say if people haven't watched it. And then season 4, I really don't give a damn. But I can watch that on a loop. And I think it's something that, it was just something that I grew up with. And I like the drama. And I like looking at people that have more money than me. I think that's why I had a fascination with Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And I'm just like, I'm over this now. It was the fact that it's something out of the ordinary that they have. And they're just showing me. And then keep the drama away.
Would you like to know something very interesting that one of my colleagues pointed out to me? Was that, why do you think Friends was successful? Why?
I think because it just highlighted like everyone said that, you know, with people, they're just like, oh, I'm a Phoebe, oh, I'm a Joey, oh, I'm a Chandler. But for me, it always felt like I related to all of those characters at some point in my life. And also like, I've also had friends that their bad traits as well as their good were highlighted in a lot of people that I knew. Like throughout time, throughout Friends. Like the whole thing is, if you watch the reunion, the producers were like, there won't be a return of Friends because the whole point is to capture that moment in your life when you had friends around and then they got married or whatever. And then it just to capture a snapshot in time, how the easy comings and goings and how people just stood by each other. That's what I think. What do you think?
Well, my theory isn't a theory. Well, my colleague has a theory. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah, tell us more.
So, if you look at the main cast of Friends and who they cast, would you be able to read their names for everyone listening? Bring that up. Have a little Google search, or even just top of your head. What are their real names in real life?
So we got Joey as Matt LeBlanc. I cannot. My mind is just so tired. Jen Aniston as what's her name?
Yeah, Rachel.
Rachel Green. Ross as David Schwimmer.
So
Chandler.
To cut a long story short, I know you're very tired.
Yeah.
So each of their names are alphabetical.
Lisa Kudrow, that's the one. Oh.
Alphabetical.
Oh my God, yeah, I've never noticed.
And if you read it from start to finish, it goes girls and then guys.
So it's a mind trick.
And one of the things that my colleague said is she's like, I'm very much into patterns. And I pretty much believe that when people are in a pattern that is, accepted or whatnot, it means that a show is going to be acceptable because it flows.
Ah.
And I was just like,
you know what to expect?
Can I put this theory to test? So if you go to the OC, another series you just talked about, there is an opposition going on between the initials of each characters in terms of Marissa,
Ryan.
Their real names in real life. And the other two, the two males and two females, Marissa and Ryan and...
Summer and Seth.
Brody and... Seth and...
Summer.
What was her name?
Summer.
Oh my God. Yeah. Summer.
As in,
Yeah.
Rachel Bilson,
Summer.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I thought that was pretty cool as well.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
You need someone to point it out.
I never thought about that, because everyone goes on about how Friends was so successful in its time as, a show and whatnot. But, she was just she basically said that whenever I see, a list of people and it just so happens that, there's such a flow to it, I honestly think that it's going to turn out successful.
I like it.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, that's cool. I never thought about it like that, but yeah.
They were warned, isn't it, at the start?
The names, it just kind of flow, doesn't it?
It
they're
does.
All different, but
it's interesting because they were warned, but the producers were just like, this is going to be a hit, and they were sent out for lunch or dinner because they're like, this is the last time you'll have freedom. And they didn't take it seriously, and it literally blew up. Like,
yeah.
I even
when
like.
you think about it, though, it's like it's a very, very, very well thought out show, but also I think it comes down to the characters and the casting.
And keeping authentic to each character.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And just like their personalities are kind of like their characters, like it was well cast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that's that was one thing that my colleague pointed out. She's like, whenever I see like a group of people come together and I see like how like alphabetically it all like ties in, and I'm like, that is such a interesting theory. It's just a theory, but I was just like, oh, okay.
There you go.
Very interesting.
What are your favorite TV shows, James?
Yeah, we can go into that now instead of just superstition.
Yeah, it's a good point, though. I never saw it like that. Could be right.
Yeah. So my favorite, True Detective.
Ooh.
When that came out, the first season, and we got to see Matthew McConaughey play that detective. Was it Hart? I think it was. I just felt it was a character that was outside the norm for him, and it made it so engrossing. Like, I've never seen Matthew McConaughey act as that sort of person.
I need to watch this. I've never seen it.
More reserved, and it begins, and the detectives are questioning them. I know the first season of that is the best. It goes downhill. Sorry, season 2 and season 3. Like, I understand why they gave, obviously, a season 2 and season 3 with new characters and everything, but season 1 is the best season for me.
Aww.
He was in the prime of his acting career, I kind of feel, in the ability to be able to go to the show people and be like, actually, I don't want to play the character you want me to play. I want to play this character. And I found it very interesting, the whole dynamics. You also have Woody Harrelson, and he's just great in it. I know that series, the first season, was great. I also love The Killing. Obviously, it's made in. It was made partially in Vancouver and Seattle, Washington State, but I'm not sure it was all filmed there. But anyway, to cut a long story short, I just really liked how it played into the whole political spectrum. A young girl goes missing, and then how close to home it kind of hits at the end of that, and then also what they did on it. I know it's just got a lot of things, and obviously in the current political landscape of today, of Free Britney movement, where she went today to court to talk about her her father and the legalities of her father looking after her, and how she can't have children because he's got implanted something inside her so that she can't fall pregnant. And
it's shocking,
I just found
really.
it very interesting, because I think like a lot of these shows, are crime shows, but I think it also has a real something to say about the entrapment of women in a lot of these situations, and that we don't really have equality yet, because we still have, people being trafficked as sex slaves, especially women, and all that kind of stuff. So I think I like the fact that they're bringing that to the surface, and I do like shows that, are that little bit darker, because I do think it's good to shine light on it.
Yeah. It was actually, when I read that article, there's multiple articles about this and how Britney is just fighting for guts for this.
Yeah, and men in positions of power abusing their power over women.
It's just interesting that it's Britney, though. You wouldn't think it would be like someone known to the public eye. It would be someone on the sidelines that are suffering, and you get famous people highlighting it. This is like the real deal. This is like an American sweetheart sort of it's unbelievable. But hey, if she's able to actually free herself and free others because of what she's going through. My hat goes off to her.
It'll be interesting. Okay, and now to like obviously mix it up. As a little kid, Power Rangers. Oh God, loved that. Loved cartoons. Captain Planet.
He's a hero.
Yeah, and then a lot of that kind of stuff. I guess most of the stories I've always connected to have been. This is also kind of funny. I've always liked villains in shows.
Yeah, you have actually.
And I think like there's something to the villain is that like they are kind of the plot device. They are the one who, if they didn't exist, the protagonist wouldn't have a reason to fight.
Yeah, the victory at the end.
So they're just as much the opposition that kind of makes the TV show.
It's kind of like I always liked Suits, and I'm never into like legal shows. I'm always like, I don't know, Vampire Diaries or some creative Once Upon a Time. But that really, like, I liked the opposition, and you know, even the good people were turning bad, and it was actually
I do like I also like shows that make you think and give you a little bit more dynamic in that are the good guys and are the bad guys, or is it all
makes you think
bit more complicated than that?
It's kind of like Breaking Bad. Like I went straight from Breaking Bad to the movies, and I'm hooked. They can bring another movie and I'll be the first one in the cinemas.
Yeah.
I just love it. That makes you think and makes your mind go an extra mile instead of like the collective thought.
Yeah. Also, I kind of love TV shows like The Newsroom.
Yes.
Like, how amazing to be able to watch a TV show. I got, mixed reviews, but to watch a TV show that was talking about the events that were happening in the world and bringing them to, like, the spotlight, months later to the world, just being like, this breaking news, that breaking news, and also stories that were kind of missed in the public eye and weren't really cast a shadow of, but they were like, no, this was an important moment in our history.
I do like
let's
that.
Bring it to light. I kind of really liked that. And I kind of liked how it kind of raised, he's such a great writer, the writer of The West Wing, Aaron Sorkin. And he writes characters who are super smart, who are going to talk quickly, who are going to be very intelligent and have very intelligent conversations. And a lot of people, I feel, in, TV and that come from that essay kind of writing, keep things simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Make sure that your message is stupid for the masses, they can understand it. But I kind of think there's something to be said about doing the opposite, having a character who speaks really quickly. Because if you were in a newsroom, you have to respond quickly to what's going on, to the footage that you're showing people.
Yeah.
The producer isn't going to be a person who speaks very slowly and goes, oh, this happens. The person's going to be very quick, very concise, very direct, very to the point.
Yeah.
And succinct and educated. So I kind of liked the fact that you had, a female producer in the role, you had a male, and they all had different political opinions and, positions, even though it was more left-leaning. But the main character at the end of the day, I felt, was very much a centered kind of person who was arguing both sides of the argument, could see what both sides of the political situation we're getting at, and being like, can we move on from this? Can we, he was asking the tough questions that I don't think Americans were asking themselves. It's like, how can America be better? Because
I like it.
That's the opening scene, is he's like,
that blonde
it's
guy,
like,
isn't
why
it?
is America the
Yeah.
greatest country in the world? And he's like, well, why do we have the most incarceration? You're trying to say that we're the greatest country in the world. We've got the most incarcerations of people on Earth.
I remember when that came out and it hit YouTube, it went viral. Do you remember? Because we were all like, whoa. He's in that lecture theater, isn't it, on stage?
Yeah.
And he like shuts that guy down.
Yeah,
So
and
good.
then also he's who ends up being his news producer and love interest writes on the placards, and she's like, it can be great again. It was very interesting because obviously Donald Trump campaign with Make America Great Again.
Mm.
So I think there was that consciousness level on a nation, as much as you want to have pride in your nation, but you got to also realize that there's times when you can be better. It's just like, what you've got is great, but why not strive for something more?
Yeah, if you can do better, you must do better. Don't do yourself a disjustice because you never know what
complacent. Yeah,
you don't know what the repercussions of that is to another person as well.
Yeah, it's just like, have visions for the future. I feel like we are becoming a complacent society. It's like we've never had such a great access to all these different types of food in the world, all this kind of stuff, like the ease of like being able to get from A to B.
Technology, all of it.
Yeah, technology. And it's just like we've got all this stuff at our fingertips, but at the same time, it's just like, are we becoming complacent and are we becoming too dependent upon these things? Mm. And it also comes back to TV. What I wanted to touch on lastly was about there actually are studies that TV actually is a precursor of dementia and Alzheimer's.
Insane, isn't it?
And they were saying that too much screen time is actually detrimental.
This is why it's good for like phones, like all Android and Apple phones have that thing where you can actually look at how much you delegate your time when you're looking at the screen as well, what app, and then how much screen time. It's actually, mine's at a disastrous level. I need to pull back.
I think like the biggest thing that I wanted to touch on before we leave is like, it's great that these people are living out these amazing stories and making us think and making us engage or making us escape. Like a lot of this stuff is escapism, we're seeing other people's lives, especially in reality TV. I think the most important thing too about it is what we always say on our show, is the balance. Yeah. It's always the balance. You can't watch too many shows. There's so many shows out there. You could become such an addict to just watching TV. And like, great, if that makes you happy, do that all you want. But research shows that it's the main, contributor to Alzheimer's and dementia.
It's the balance.
So I think what I'm trying to say is moderation. Everything in moderation.
I like that. I like that a lot. I have like a never-ending list of TV shows, and I go to start, and I think the last one I successfully watched was actually Enola Holmes. The rest I've just been, I've seen this before, let's just watch my favorite parts.
I also find that myself, it's harder for me nowadays to watch a series.
Yes, we're at that age, isn't it?
I think it's also at the age where I'm like, is this worth my time? Am I connecting to it?
Yeah.
Because if I'm not connecting to it, I don't want to waste my time, because my time is
precious.
Precious. And it's just kind of like you watch something and you're forming judgments, you're forming opinions. I feel like as the older you get, the more you kind of come to this realization. My time is precious. Like,
don't waste it. Get it done.
I've already been here on this earth for, a third of my life. And do I want to be spending it right now watching this? Yeah.
Watching crap or watching or anything. If you're able to draw something from anything, go for it. But I agree. Moderation indeed.
Yeah.
All right, James.
I really like series that are short.
Yeah.
And sometimes I really think why did we have another season?
Oh, I know. You just wanted to make money, didn't you?
Yeah. Okay.
30 minutes
there's
on the
heaps more
dot.
TV shows.
Go for it. If you were to list 10, go, James.
You can recommend some, and I'll test them out because at the moment, a lot of people recommend me TV shows, and I just cannot get into them.
I've been trying to watch Umbrella Academy for how freaking long.
I can't get into it.
I've never even tried, and I'm just like, at the end of the day, I come home, I eat, I relax. I need something that makes me laugh. I'm in that phase of my life. Where back in the day, I was in the, let's watch Game of Thrones. I can wait. I'm dying to watch it, and now I can't do that anymore.
But even with Game of Thrones, I felt like I came to that series, and I feel like where it finished and where it ended up, and like the whole journey there, was it worth it?
I need the book. He's like, wait for the book, so I'm waiting for the book because that ending.
He could be waiting forever.
He could be gone and still waiting, but fingers crossed, no. But yeah, it was just the greatest show of all time with the shittest ending. But I'm hopeful. Let's just say that I'm positive and I'm hopeful that he'll be able to explain. But we'll see how it goes. Like, it's the anticipation to have the greatest ending that screwed it as well. So
yeah, it was that expectation.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm keen. It's the one book I will actually take the time off and read.
Oh, One Tree Hill I loved because of the music.
Oh my God, James. Yeah, you and One Tree Hill. It's like second nature.
Moments.
Yeah.
So dramatic. It's the most dramatic
up and down
series of all time.
I agree.
It's so emo.
But damn, those moments and then those really sad moments were really highlighted. Like, it was great of its time.
It was very emo, yeah.
I agree.
Okay, well.
All right, James.
Is that half an hour?
That's half an hour indeed.
Yeah, I thought so.
Boom. All right.
Thank you so much for listening to our loyal listeners. We love you. Let us know what you would like to listen to next in terms of topics. Remember to like us on Facebook and also like and comment on our Instagram.
We're on YouTube, so check us out.
Yeah.
And I'll see you next week, James.
I'll see you then.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.